Welcome to I'ma Talk About It. I'm Alicia E., empowerment coach and ancestral healer, and I'm here to teach you how to break generational cycles, self-advocate, and ascend to happiness without the guilt of wanting a better life for yourself. You don't have to choose the same path as those before you. You can choose a better way, your way. Because if we can each heal ourselves today, we can heal the world tomorrow together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we have a very interesting topic, and I'm excited to share it with you because this is the first time that I'm actually sharing a podcast episode alongside my actual healing journey. So today I really want to talk about healing through heartbreak, falling in love again, and finding your inner light. This really came to me recently on my travels. I seem to have been gravitating other people who were also experiencing a heartbreak or some sort of separation or working through some grief. Like, it wasn't necessarily that maybe they weren't in partnership anymore, but maybe they were grieving something in their life, something they had lost, something they were letting go of. And we were connecting on such a deep level about it that I really wanted to share it, because grief and heartbreak, in whatever capacity you may be experiencing it in, can be really challenging to deal with, especially if you don't have a community around you. And if you haven't noticed, with this last eclipse, there has been a lot of ties being cut and ties being released, energies being released, doors being shut, specifically because November and shifting into next year is going to be filled with huge, abundant change. Like, you may already be experiencing the abundance and the change right now, but you may also be in a full swing transition. Like, you can feel something really big coming to you, but you're like, okay, wait a minute, what's coming? I need to take a breath. I'm like still cutting ties, but I'm ready for this, right? A lot of people have been feeling that. It's a big change and an elevation towards your destiny and your calling, which I've also communicated a lot with people recently of they just have this really strong pull to do something that they truly love. Not like, oh, I'm just going to leave my job. Like, they're like, no, I'm ready to set out and make change in my full capacity. I'm ready to write this music. I'm ready to be an artist. I'm ready to take a chance. I'm ready to wear the 7 hats that I want to wear as an artist, as a musician, as a dancer, as, whatever it may be. And I've seen it even in my family with them shifting around in their jobs. And my mom's kind of been building her dream garden in her backyard, and I'm going to help her start a YouTube channel because she loves YouTube. And she's like, I want to share my story, because she has all these really cool ideas and she's figuring everything out on her own, and just is like this construction badass who, is very technical, she's just like a very curious person. Like, the way she learned how to build computers was because she took it apart, and it's the same thing with her backyard. And so a lot of people are being called towards the thing that is giving them the most joy and allowing them to shine their light the brightest. But in order for you to be able to hold that energy, you really have to let go of all of the ties that have been holding you back, either in your physical body, your energy, friends, family, acquaintances, situations, your environment, right? A lot of people are moving, even for myself. And I found that when I was going to make the leap, I still had ties that I needed to let go of, but also I was being realigned. At the same time, they were like, wait a minute, we still have some things to take care of, and I want you to learn this thing. So you might be experiencing that. Like, 1 minute, you might feel like, okay, you know what you're doing. And then the next minute, you're completely confused and being pushed in a totally different direction, right? just let it go, let it happen. This is just the shift of the world right now, because we're moving towards more of a collective way of thinking, a togetherness, a oneness, a community of like family, not in the traditional sense of family, but like a sense of family and being together, like sharing in something that you have in common, or exchanging in gifts, bartering, like whatever it may be, right? It's this love, it's this communal independence. So in order to do this again, we have to shut the doors of the past. And a few other things that might be coming up, because I wanted to talk about this as well, just because this shift has been so big. You might also feel like time is speeding up super quickly, but also moving slow in terms of finances or like a realignment. Like you're like, I feel like I'm moving fast, but I'm also moving slow. Like I don't really know what's going on. You're just being realigned, and it's perfectly okay. Do what is best for you. Surround yourself with high vibrational people. I'm letting go of a lot of people who have been really heavy on my heart and on my soul, and not willing to trust their own capabilities and relying too much on even my own light, because I am someone who is a self-starter. So release those people. Even if you've known them for a while, really sit down and contemplate if that relationship is going to align with you in the future, because there is a reason why it's maybe coming to the surface right now. So you probably need to evaluate the community that you keep. So now let's kind of talk about heartbreak, because I feel like with movies and social media, heartbreak is always depicted as you're in this relationship, it was really difficult, and then it ends, and then you're crying and you're eating ice cream. Like there's a very like narrow-minded, washed version of what heartbreak truly is. But you can have heartbreak over many things in your life. As I mentioned, you can have heartbreak over old expectations. Like maybe you wanted to experience something by a certain age, and maybe that didn't happen, or it didn't turn out the way you were hoping, which, you know, one of my favorite tarot readers online, I believe it's Tarot maybe, says like rejection is divine intervention, or like divine redirection, or something like that. You can still have heartbreak about that situation, and that's perfectly okay too. Or dreams that you may have had for yourself that are now changing and letting them go. I know a close friend of mine, we were both kind of experiencing a split or a decision to like separate from people who weren't aligning with us anymore. And we got hit really hard right before the eclipse. And it was like we were getting thrown back in time and then reflected on the things that we wouldn't have anymore. Those experiences, those people, those places that we used to go to, or, you know, people in their family were having babies and we were disconnected. You know, we weren't going to be there for those memories. And we really had to talk about it. Like we really needed to dig in and let that go and grieve it, right? Because you can experience a lot of heartbreak and a lot of loss with those connections, because many of you, which I mean, everybody is very connected to their human experience. And if you're a deeply loving and empathetic person, it's even harder to let those things go. Like myself, like I'm very attached to people, and I want to be there for them, and I want to make sure that they're happy. And so I love experiencing beautiful moments with them as well. So when you cut ties with people, sometimes you do feel a deep sorrow and a deep heartbreak, the same way that you would for a family member, and vice versa, right? Or even if you weren't in a relationship, maybe it's a really good friend, like a romantic relationship, maybe it's a really good friend. It's okay to grieve the things that are causing you a little bit of pain, right? Or maybe it's a shift in your business. I've seen this come up a lot for entrepreneurs, and especially for myself. I chat with a lot of people online, and a lot of my friends are also entrepreneurs, but the ancestors have been coming in real fucking hot, real hot lately. And like I've mentioned, you can kind of tell the difference between your ancestors and like your spirit guide, like your guides or your spiritual team, or however you want to explain it, the universe, whatever energy is around you. Your ancestors are definitely your guides, but sometimes your guides are not your ancestors. Like, I feel like for myself, I know I have a very distinct feeling for my ancestors and a very distinct feeling for my actual guides. Like, I know my ancestors guide me, but they feel different and they have different opinions. Like, they're more vocal and they're more forward about information. And like I've said, I feel like it's also because they're more closely attached to their human lives. So they will act like people, but on the other side. And they've been coming in hot. Like, the ancestors are out and about trying to help people, trying to connect them to their destiny, looking over them, looking over their family a lot. So if you have a business and things are getting blocked, or maybe this has also been coming up, maybe you've been applying for jobs and they're just not going through, check your energy and check in with the path that you're on right now. Is it something that you're really calling in for yourself that ignites your joy and your happiness and your love? Because it could be a joint like energy thing between you and your ancestors, because your soul truly is wanting something else and they know that. So really, really check in with yourself. Another thing that you could be grieving or having heartbreak over is family ties. Like, I feel like this has been coming up a lot, especially with my entrepreneurs who are really grieving some family ties. Like, even though they are strengthening because they're able to have those open and honest communications with family members, there is a sense that the truth about your family members is being revealed at this time, and who they are is also being revealed. Like, the truth is coming out from the woodworks, because the universe and your ancestors and all your guides are asking you to really make a decision. Not that you have to leave your family, but your family is so heavily tied to your own ways of thinking, how you were brought up, how you take care of yourself, how you show up in the world and interact with other people. So you have to take a look at your family right now. Like, if you are living with your family, if you're back with your family, it's also the holidays. So it's no coincidence that ties are being cut also around holidays, or, things are being revealed to you around the holidays, because again, November and through the rest of next year is going to be a really fast paced time for you to live in your truth and your authenticity. So it's almost like, here, open the door, take a look around, dust your shelves and like really decide what you want to do in this family setting. Another one that's really come up and I've talked to a lot of people about is healing ancestral heartbreak, of yearning for simplicity and happiness instead of social unrest and chaos. So I know that there's been a lot going on in the world right now, and I feel like everyone is just feeling it from every angle and wanting to do their best, wanting to show up for each other, wanting to create change. And it's okay to express that heartbreak or express that worry, and also have a solution for yourself, right? The only time that we really can get into trouble when we are trying to create change or trying to heal and not get stuck in lower vibrational energies is when we are grieving our heartbreak or in our heartbreak without having steps out of it. It doesn't mean that you need to know what you're going to do next. It just means that you have to have some sort of plan for yourself to aid in your healing journey. So whether that's, maybe you spent the whole day crying, but what are you going to do next? What is going to help you? Is it making sure that you take that bath and tomorrow you get a really nutritious meal and you don't cook? Like, what is it? You have to think about the next step. And I don't always recommend people to be like thinking about the future, but when you're dealing with heartbreak and really allowing, your watery energy to flow out of you, and to be released, you have to also bring in your earth energy to help nurture you, connecting with energies of the earth, connecting with your ancestors, connecting with fire if you want to also release something, or wind, whatever it may be. Bring in the rest of the elements, or else you will be in a state of imbalance for a really long time, and it'll be hard to get out of it. And then another one is deep longing, but having a sense of hope and compassion for yourself and others. So you can also experience this during a heartbreak or a transition, especially during this eclipse. So really wanting to create change globally, and to want to finally see the future that you've envisioned for yourself and for this world, but also maintaining that hope and that compassion for others. Like, that is a huge thing to really keep in the forefront of your mind, even on your healing journey. Like, how can you show yourself a little bit more compassion? How can you show the world a little bit more compassion, even if it means, when you're in the grocery store and someone walks by, just smiling, because you never know what they could be experiencing, right? So going through a heartbreak can be extremely challenging. There can also be a fear to begin or accept the abundance that may be coming to you, right? So this could be halting your transition as well. My friend and I just talked about this today of, sometimes we will prolong the healing journey because we are avoiding the amazing things that come next, because we don't know what it looks like. We're not quite sure how it feels. And we don't know what to expect. The path isn't clear yet. So we don't have the full clarity. But what we are not understanding is we can't stop the healing journey, or else we'll never get to the clarity. So, and I know someone shared on their story and tagged me in it recently that they were avoiding doing their shadow work, avoiding, maybe cutting ties or cutting energy with people that were really bringing them down, right? So most of the time it's from a fear of not knowing what's going to happen next, or trusting what's going to happen next, or maybe trusting that new beautiful connections are going to come into your life. And, I really had to learn that over the last couple months, as my partner and I were separating and sharing in the same space. I continued to travel for work, and every time I did, I met a million new people. And so it made and still makes my healing journey a lot easier, because I'm trusting that the right people will show. And these are phenomenal fucking people. So shout out to you all who have been by my side the last couple weeks, and I barely know you, but we are exchanging in a whole huge circle of love and support for each other in a totally different, deep way that I've never even seen fucking happen before. So understand that as you are shifting out of the depths of, your watery energy, maybe you're in your scorpionic, rebirth phase, and really becoming that phoenix, that fire, call in love, literally call it in on its deepest level, full ass love. And you'll be surprised what happens. I kid you not, if you literally just write in your journal, which I shout out to my friend Madison for teaching me about writing in your journal, hey, universe or ancestors, reveal to me blank. I've been doing that, and oh my gosh, it's fucking wild. I've been writing about revealing new loving relationships and connections, how I can shift my business with ease, and bring in beautiful clients and support them, and have access to funding to make sure things are accessible, all of these things. Literally call it in for yourself, because people will start to show up out of the fucking woodworks. It's the weirdest thing. I kid you not, the amount of messages that I even get throughout the day from people I've never ever met before. But when you make that shift in your energy, you start to receive the support and the love that you are dreaming of. So now I kind of want to share some tips about how you can really begin shifting your heartbreak or your longing out of the deep depths of your watery energy and really beginning that rebirth process, especially after this eclipse, which is going to be so important because y'all, your abundance is fucking here and it's coming fast whether you're ready or not. So get ready to catch it, get ready to live in it. So I've got some points that I really wanted to share. So going at a pace that's sustainable for you, but also guided by the universe. This comes up because one of my fabulous coaches, his name is Philippe. Shout out to him. Phenomenal coach. He was hosting like these light talks. There's circles that you can go to with other people from all walks of life, and you can kind of get coaching as a group. And I was sharing that I felt like every day I was receiving all these beautiful miracles, all these beautiful instances of meeting people. Like luck has been on my side, like really wild in a weird, funky way. And I was like, I feel like it's coming so fast, but I also feel like I want to rest and take care of myself. And, you know, we were talking about the physical body and how much rest it actually requires, but also balancing that with how fast the universe is moving, because the universe knows that you can handle it, but your ego cannot. Your ego is what's going to come in and like smack you when you're down and tell you, oh, you can't do this, you can't handle it, you can't do all these things, but really you fucking can. It's just your ego is doing its like little extinction burst, knowing that you're about to kick fucking ass and manifest all the things that you've ever been wanting. So it tries to pump the brakes and tell you you're not ready, but you are ready, because the universe is like, nah, bruh, you're ready. I'm sending you everything you've ever wanted your entire life. So why are you pumping the brakes? So really making the distinctions for yourself of when things are your ego and when you really want to run for it, like run after it, take those risks, believe in yourself and keep going. I like to say channel trust and just go. That is something that I've really coined for myself the last couple months, because that's what I've been doing, to meet all these amazing people, to get these opportunities, like the one trip to Pakistan, which we actually won't be going now because it's too dangerous, but the opportunity was amazing. Meeting a filmmaker, meeting an amazing friend. Shout out to you, Meg. I know you're listening. For helping me also secure other jobs that I've been wanting to have to kind of supplement with my business right now, as I make these shifts. And you know, amazing Austin, who I met in Ojai, and just all sorts of beautiful people who have just been sharing in love. So just channel, trust, and go. Another thing that you can do is meditate. Even if you're new to it, just meditate. You could be washing the dishes and be in a meditative state. I have a very close friend and client. Her name is Emily. She like loves to make things with her hands, and so I was like, that is your meditation. Do things with your hands and just be in that state, when your mind can just let go and you can take a deep breath. So it's also about connecting, so you can see the blinking, flashing signs from the universe that are literally everywhere, but we don't always see them. And you can begin to feel the loving support that is all around you. Another one is accepting that it's okay to feel grief, and that it's okay to feel really fucking happy about liberating yourself. So we don't talk about this as a society with heartbreak, like, which is why I've been so transparent on my social media, especially with my ex. When we did that post, we really wanted to take that opportunity to allow people and like give people the permission, because we don't always give it ourselves, like give people the permission to talk about how things are really fucking hard sometimes. And it's okay to like not know what you're doing and to do it as best you can. No, our time in the apartment was not easy. Our time was very difficult. There was also some fighting, yelling. There was also some crying, but there's also some laughter, and there was a lot of ease and healing and finding a middle ground as well. And I share this on social media, not out of like, oh, woe is me, but like, let's talk about it. Like, stop suffering in silence. Like, we have a tendency to do that because we live in a very perfectionist society where our standard is to have all of our shit together, based on old stupid racist things is what I just like to say. So it's like, rock out with whatever you're fucking feeling in that moment, even if it's anger, if it's joy, it's happiness, it's sadness, right? Like, do it with love. If you're coming with love, everything's going to be fine. I mean, don't be angry at other people for no good reason. Take it out in the rage room if you have one near you, or fucking go to kickboxing or whatever it is. Or if you're healing your inner teen like I am, just go listen to, your rock playlist and get really fucking emo for a day. Or for months, because that's probably going to happen next. But really, truly take care of yourself and talk about it. You don't have to keep it to yourself. And the second part, it's okay to be really fucking happy about liberating yourself. And this is a conversation that, my partner and I had really discussed, because grief looks different on both of us. And I also preferred to grieve by myself, but I also prefer to be happy as well, because I was celebrating myself in choosing to elevate myself. It's okay to also feel happy that you're making change for yourself. And I was allowing in people to help me. So I was happier. I felt supported. I knew that if I needed something, I can call on these friends and these acquaintances that I just met and be like, hey, I'm having a really hard time. And they'd be like, you're doing amazing. I love you. I see you. Let's do this together. Right? I was happier because I was not carrying it on my own. I wasn't emotionally dumping on people. These were people I was talking to, and they were like, call me anytime. Let's just chat, because that's what it's about. And it's okay to feel happy about that, because if we're constantly shaming ourselves when we feel happy because we're not fitting the standard of what grief and heartbreak looks like, we're gonna fucking end up in despair and depression. And I hate to say this, even taking your own life. It is that serious. It is fully that serious to understand that we have to start normalizing these conversations for the sake of people's lives, because it's time. This is how we start to save lives. This is why we share our stories. This is why we share in our joy, right? I've surrounded myself with these people and online communities that I can turn to. I'm in a group, the YouTube tarot reader is Energy. They're amazing, and they have a Telegram group that I'm a part of, and there's other healers and light workers in there. And I remember one of the days I just was like, I'm feeling it hard today, and I shared everything in that chat. Everyone's so fucking loving. You know what I mean? So it's you really have to be intentional about who you surround yourself with. And it's okay to share when you're having a really good day. And it's okay to share when you're having a really fucking bad day. Because if people really don't want to hear it, it's on them. It's on them. Don't emotionally dump, right? There's a balance. But understand that it's okay to express yourself. And if they don't want to hear it, they can also articulate that. The last one I kind of want to talk about, well, there's actually multiple, but this one is allowing in new love, literal love, not just platonic love, but romantic love. So this has been weird on my journey because, I recently separated, but while I was traveling, it was people knew I was single or something. They were like, oh, can I take you on a date, or can I walk you across the street, or do you want to hang out? And my ass was just kind of I don't know what the fuck this is. I'm I've been in relationships way too long. So what do I even do during this situation? But I really, tapped into my energy, and, I shared from a place of love. One person had asked to hang out, and I was telling them that they're so sweet and they're so loving. And I was curious, I did want to go, but I was also very exhausted. And so I just was honest about it. I was like, it sounds like a lot of fun and I would love to go another time. Like, that was literally what I said, because that was how I felt. If that other time comes, great. If not, then it is what it is. But it's like allowing your heart to keep feeling love. Like, I feel like we shame each other if people start to find love in other places, right? It's one thing if you're constantly grasping for relationships, but it's also no shade. I don't judge anybody, but it's also if it's colliding with your healing journey and you're not looking at why that's happening, that's a whole different story. But if suitors, and what I like to call it with my friend Madison, if your suitor booty gang is like being manifested around you hardcore, then it's okay. Like, there's no fucking shame in that. Like, surround yourself with people who are not going to judge you for the life that you are living, right? Like, it's okay to be asked out on a date, even though you just separated from someone. It's okay to articulate that. It's okay to just go. It's okay. Some people, which I was like, I just separated and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh my gosh, I did too. Like, it's like, it was fucking weird, but they had taken a risk. And so then I was like, okay, cool. Like, we can have this conversation about like how you separated, I separated. And it's like, can we just have food? It's like, yeah, dope. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you just never know what people are going through. And you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, is this going to end in marriage? Is this going to it's all about being authentic with how you're feeling in that moment. And if you really want to do it, and being upfront, like, I have no shame in sharing with people that I just separated, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now with my heart. I'm just going and I'm flowing, and I'm like channeling, calling in, whatever. And usually people are very responsive to that, I'm finding. Because most people are not as authentic and honest with how they communicate. They might give a very, crossroads answer. For anyone who goes to Crossroads and drops shit off, it bugs the fuck out of me, because they're like, these items just aren't in style anymore. And I'm like, do you all say the same fucking thing? Can you just give me my clothes? Like, I don't say that, but it's like, can we be a little bit more honest? Like, have people really gotten mad about their stuff not being accepted? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, it always weirds me out, because I'm a very honest and authentic person. So I'm always going to share messages with you with love. So do that for other people. It's really simple. And I always tell my clients, like, you will get what you want if you express how you feel. Like, if you're honest, because then people know how to interact with you. But if you're constantly having this shield up or this mask up, how the fuck are they gonna know what you're actually like wanting, or what your heart is desiring? It's like, oh, well, I didn't like get the meal, but, and I'm like, well, did you ask for it? And they're like, no. Well, I was like, well, the fuck are you? You know what I mean? So it's like, let's use some common sense. But long story short, because I'm going on a tangent, like, be open to new love in whatever form it comes in, and understand, again, everything happens for a reason, and it's okay to let your heart and your energy to keep flowing. Because sometimes when you're in that state of heartbreak or grief or whatever it is that you're releasing, it's really easy to shut your heart down, because you're like, oh no, I don't want anybody to fucking touch my heart right now. It's like, well, is that really gonna serve you down the road? Because then you have to learn how to open up again. So for me, it's kind of like, my heart is broken, but I'm also going to share with people in new forms of love and communication, and have compassion towards myself, because I don't want my heart to shut down. It doesn't mean I'm going to give my heart away to anybody. It just means I'm going to communicate that my heart is open, but I'm being cautious, so I'm not gonna lend it to you very quickly. So it's like being really honest about that. So letting platonic or non-platonic relationships just flow to you. Flirt, have fun, let your light shine, because you are beautiful, you are amazing, you're a badass. No matter who is like listening, like, you are phenomenal. And if people are coming to you, gravitating towards you, it's because they can feel that, and they feel that light, and they feel that love. Just let your heart keep going, and just be really honest with what you are wanting and what you don't want. And don't shame yourself. Again, and don't shame other people. This is the biggest thing. Like, we need to stop shaming people and how they go through relationships, even if they're expressing it in a way that you don't agree with on social media. For example, you know, when I went through my own divorce, it was very hard for me. And there were friends who would shame me and my other best friend who also went through a divorce. And they were shaming us for going out and partying. I was like, you know, we're literally wearing sweatpants and like sandals and wedges, and we're fucked up. Like, our hair was just like, it wasn't, you know, like we were just letting our hair down. But they took advantage of that moment to shame us instead of supporting us, because we invited them to come along. They're like, no, I'm happily married, I'm not gonna blah blah blah. And it's like, that's not what it's about. Also, like, even when I was married, I still went out because ain't nobody control me. So there's also that. No shade, but just pointing that out. So stop shaming each other. Like, stop fucking shaming each other. And I hate seeing this between, like, especially femme presenting people. Like, y'all, we got it hard enough. Can you just show up for each other? Can you just show up for each other and just love on each other? Support each other in the club. Like, make sure people are chill. Make sure they're taken care of. Call a stranger an Uber if they're not doing so hot. Like, it's just lead from a place of compassion, even when you're going through something difficult, because we all need it in this world. And, you know, it's okay to have fun. It's okay to do whatever your heart desires. My friend and I would smoke hella weed at the beach, eat fries. Like, we did everything. We did anything that we wanted to do, right? And now my healing journey is like, I'm sitting at home creating music, making songs, like playing video games, watching movies, eating dark chocolate pretzels from Trader Joe's and ginger snaps. And it is what it is, sending audio messages to my friends. So it's like, have as much fun as you want to, no matter what it looks like. Because I really don't love how, you know, if you're poor in spirit, then you're supposed to look unhappy. Like, what the fuck, have we not evolved, right? Like, don't ever let someone shame you about how you look, even though you might be experiencing something, right? Like, let's not make quick judgments on each other. But go out and meet new people. This is a huge one. Even if it's on social media, meet new people, because it'll be easier to let go and to close old doors when you can literally call in new experiences, new energy, new fun. Yeah, like, it's just easier. So transition out of this phase with calling in newness in your physical world as well. Even if it means you're at the checkout stand and you talk to someone at Target, or like maybe you go out on a limb and go to a community group that you've been looking at, but you're like, I don't know anybody there. It's like, just go and see what happens. You know, you just never know what could come of that situation. And take risks. Like safe risks. Go out, have fun, talk to people, learn new things, like spend a little money, not spend a little money, like whatever it is, just go have fun, start that business, like believe in yourself, and also radically rest, like rest as well, as much as you want to, because sometimes you feel tired and sometimes you don't, but sometimes it's okay to take a midday nap if you need to, right? Don't shame yourself for that, but don't stop living ever. Like, even if you're going through heartbreak and grief, it's okay to keep living and to keep grieving. Like, I think there's a misconception that if we're grieving or if we're transitioning through something, we have to sit the fuck down. And that's not even true. Like, the best healing that I've ever done in my life is when I was traveling or when I was in community with other people. And I still had time to sit down and rest, but that wasn't bringing me joy and love. That made me more depressed. And that's why in other cultures, and I talked about this with my lovely friend Karina, other cultures will come and be around you when you're grieving. Like, your family will be around you, or your sisters will be around you, whoever it is, they come and they have ceremonies for weeks on end so that you are not alone. So it's like, it's natural to want to be around other people when you are grieving or going through these processes, it's not natural to do things alone. Like, we do things alone, and it's the opposite of actually our human nature. So understand that as well, right? Like, it's okay to go see your friends and hang out with people and be in a space where other folks are at, like a concert or something. You know what I mean? You don't have to do it alone. And also just believing that everything will be okay, because it truly will. And it always works out in your favor, even if you can't see it right now, even if it doesn't feel that way. Divine intervention works in very mysterious ways, my friend. So allow it to happen. Cut those ties, realign, because you're about to get the biggest fucking gift in the whole world. And something fun I like to do is like, hey, universe, send me a gift tomorrow, and then see what comes. Sometimes it's someone gives you a flower, sometimes you get money, sometimes, this butterfly comes to visit you and sits on your leg. Like, whatever it is, just have fun, enjoy yourself, really take care of yourself. And the last one I just want to share is ask for help when you need it. This is something that's really big. I've been trying to be really honest about it on my page, even with my own case. And I say it to my clients as well. Please don't ever be ashamed of asking for help, no matter what the situation is, especially if it's a matter of life and death. It doesn't have to be, but I do want to say that because it's really important that we all stick together. I actually have a friend from my old complex. He's very old. His name is Lawrence, and he lives by himself, and he's very depressed. And he has a hard time, and he's trying to recondition how he thinks. He's like a genius. And people treat him very poorly, but I would always do my best to show him kindness. And he was very grateful for it. And he started crying. So you just never know the impact that you can make on people. And I actually ended up sharing my number. And I was like, text me anytime. Because if you feel like you just want someone to listen to you because he lives by himself, I'm like, send me a message. And he will. I know it takes him days because he has one of those flip phones where you gotta like really text out the words. I will always respond. And I told him, I was like, it might not be right away, but I will respond. Especially if someone sends out an SOS like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can we share a little bit more compassion to the world around us and to ourselves, so we don't have to go on this journey alone and rediscover the light that is really within us, right? We need each other to be able to do that. We need each other's love and happiness and joy and smiles and all those things to really open up our own hearts. And I know that people talk about, taking the journey to get to know yourself. Yes, you can take the journey to get to know yourself. You can also take that journey with other people. You don't have to lock yourself away in a closet to be able to do that, because people can lend a lot of insight into your journey to self. They can give you unbiased opinions, hopefully. They can also hold your hand while you do it. They can give you hugs. They can support you. They can say they love you. You can talk to each other. The journey to self doesn't mean alienation. It really doesn't. So know that you are loved and you are so deeply cared for and supported by the universe and your ancestors. And know that you are absolutely never, ever, ever, ever alone. So I am here to support you along with my community as well, who is amazing. So if you ever want to meet them, just let me know. Come to one of my events, come to my pop-ups. They're always there. I love them so dearly. And yeah, just really take care of yourself. So thank you all so much. I also just want to share some announcements that have been on my mind. So I launched today the Ancestral Soul Tarot reading, so those will be available. I highly recommend doing them. They're very focused on your journey to self, but also connecting you with your ancestors and your guides. So they're very specific, they're very powerful, they're very action oriented. So that is something that I talked about with another healer. And I saw someone on their live talk about a grandmama's apothecary, which I loved, because that is something that I believe in just, being mindful which readers you go to, and if readers are giving you advice, make sure that they're also giving you advice that can actually help you, like, and not causing extra harm or stress as well. And maybe even actions. Like, I love the work that I do because I can help people actually start the work or start the journey or start the self-love journey. So pay attention to that as well if you're with other readers, if they're just telling you things but not necessarily helping you out. In my opinion, I think as healers and as community space holders, it's also our job to help people come to solutions. Sometimes doesn't mean we give the answers, but we can lend help in that way to help people find ease. So that is what I focus on in my ancestral healing journeys and in my ancestral soul tarot. So it's very much so taking a glimpse at your soul, receiving these messages, and really helping you to move forward in a loving and empowering way. You're also going to see some more candle work things that I'm going to be offering. So if you like candle magic, I will be doing candle magic for you if that is something you are interested in. I'm also going to have some new items pop up on the store, so make sure you check that out as well. As we get closer to the holiday, I'm going to have some fun surprises coming. I'm also planning on doing a pop-up event in Sedona. I'm just finalizing the details right now and should know more in the next couple of weeks. So that'll be closer to the end of November. And also, if you are loving this podcast, I would love for you to become a subscriber and donate if you can monthly. It really helps. It helps like pay for the podcast itself, literally to keep it running. I can also put as much as I can into my programs for other people to help keep the prices down. It starts at $3. It's really not a ton of money. And that little bit goes a long way. And I just want to say thank you so much to all the folks who have subscribed already. You have no idea how much this means to me, especially as I'm going through this transition, as this shift. Finances have been looking a little bit different. So I am doing everything I can to make sure that nothing is disrupted with my clients. So I am putting out my own request for help. So yeah, I would love for more people to subscribe. If you can afford it, I'm here for it. You can also do a one-time donation. It's on my link tree. You can click that as well. Anything helps right now. And I just want to make sure that these resources can remain available and my time can remain available because I try to help as many people. And also I have a million announcements. Let's keep going. And also I just opened my doors for 20-minute healing chats since I know there's been a lot going on in the world and I want to make sure that people can connect. And I know that sometimes the holidays can be a little strange. For a lot of people, it can feel heavy instead of light. And so I want to make sure that my space is available. So you can also book a 20-minute chat and donate as well. And I will talk to you, hold space for you, share some love. We can share in some energy and you can just enjoy that space. And for folks who are on the Empowered Living group email list, you also get 10% off of all of the Ancestral Soul Tarot readings and the Fly With Me sessions. So those are available to you. You should have received the email today. And if you're wondering the difference between the tarot readings and the Fly With Me session, the tarot readings are just tarot. You have a specific number of questions you can ask, and that's pretty much it. For the Fly With Me sessions, it's a whole hour of deep dive, inner child meditation, quest, tarot as well, and a lot of coaching. So it's like a really deep dive. Like the minute you leave that session, you're going to be a changed person. Same thing with the tarot, but we can do a lot more within that hour, and it is uniquely designed for you to break through the block, like whatever it may be, right? So I put you into a meditative state. I help ascend you. I help elevate you, clear your energy, and we just push forward in aligned light and love and safety. So that one is really for my folks who are like ready to catapult themselves into the future. The Ancestral Tarot is there to support you and receive messages that you are wanting to know about. But again, if you want that deep dive, book that Fly With Me session. Or if you're just fucking ready to like do the damn thing in your life and just fucking elevate, More Than Worthy, the generational healing journey is going to be for you. It's 6 months long and there's different payment plans. So I highly recommend checking that out. You can also check out Melissa's Transformation podcast episode where you can learn more about the program itself and hear from one of my favorite folks in the whole world who had a bomb ass transformation in the program. And she spills her heart on that podcast. So appreciate it, love it, receive it. If you have not heard it, you must listen to it. You must follow her. She is a big activist in the making. And I heart her so much and I appreciate her showing up and sharing her story. So go and check that out. And that is it from me, my friends. So thank you so much for showing up today, showing up for me and showing up for yourself. And I really hope that we can connect outside of this podcast. And again, if you want to become a subscriber, please do that for the podcast. Show some love, donate some moolahs, help the podcast out so you can help other people as well. Sending you all lots of love, lots of light, and I will talk to you soon.
Hey, if you're ready to ascend to happiness and live the life you've always wanted, join me in my Empowered Living Facebook group for socially conscious healers, witches, and spirituals, and sign up to get my free Empowered 5 Practices to Ascended Happiness guide. It's helped others expand their consciousness and soar beyond sight, sound, and imagination in just one day. It's the catalyst you need to embrace your magic and change the world. Just click the link in the show notes and I'll see you in the group next time.